Hello people, a very happy morning to all of you. So guys, today we're going to discuss on a very important topic, from the board examination point of view. So before we start discussing the subject matter for the day, let me spend some 10-15 minutes to discuss certain important points that can help you from the board examination perspective. So guys, this is something which I've prepared for accountancy. On similar lines, you can also plan it for your other subjects as well. The first thing that you need to take care of to become board exam ready, the first point that you need to take care of is should have complete list of concepts and the sub concepts from all the chapters. You have to make a note as and when we are progressing with each and every chapter. You have to note down what are all the concepts and what are all the sub concepts. I'll give you one example. So at present we are doing partnership. And in the partnership, you remember, we started with the practical questions based on, where we said in the absence of partnership deed, what would happen? We saw first two illustrations based on that. So this is one concept from where the questions could be targeted. Second concept was interest on loan by partner. Third concept is interest on loan to partner, which we'll be discussing today. Then rent payable to partner. Then will be P&L appropriation account. So these are the 5 concepts. Fifth one, we have few sub-concepts. There'll be multiple sub-concepts that what will happen if the profit is more than appropriation item? What will happen if the profit is equal to appropriation item? Like that, there can be sub-concepts. So in every chapter, you have to make a list of the concepts and its sub-concepts. Why? Because during the board exam, this will serve as a checklist to cross-check if any concept you have missed for study. Because when there are too many concepts, if you don't have a checklist, there's a probability that you miss out on any concept, and you might realize that a couple of minutes before entering the hall, where your friend would have asked, hey, did you study this concept? Hey, did you study that concept? And you realize, oh shit, gone, I missed it. So this is purely because you don't have a controlled checklist with you. So it is very important, you need to get this documented. 100% you should have it handy. You may say, sir, anyways, you're preparing the list now. You give it to us. In that case, you're becoming dependent on me, which I don't want it to happen. So you will make a thorough list of concepts. At the end, we will cross-check whether you and I have captured everything or not. I have captured everything. But from your end, you'll have to see whether you have missed out on any concepts. So I'll be able to analyze how good you are at planning and making a note of certain things. So noting down the concepts and sub-concepts from all the chapters in accountancy is very crucial, very important. Point number 1. Point number 2, should have noted down all the important points and assumptions throughout your 12th standard, invariably in every chapter. You will come across so many important points. And at so many places, you have to make an assumption. If the question is silent, this is what is assumed. If the question is silent, this is what is assumed. Like that, n number of assumptions. When so many assumptions are into your head, and if it's not organized properly, there is every chance that you might miss out on that assumption. And during the exams, people get royally screwed. So it is very important to note down all the important points and assumptions. Some people have the habit of highlighting in the textbook. If that helps, fine. Or else the best part is have a separate notebook where you note down chapter wise the important points and assumptions. That is the best thing. Have your handwritten notes handy with you. Highlighting, what happens is you might sometimes miss to highlight, and highlighting are scattered across in multiple pages. So to collate and study, it becomes difficult. So having it noted down in one single page is the best part. And moreover, when you write down, it goes into your mind and stays in your mind for a very long time. So note down all the important points and assumptions wherever required. So all these points, if you take care, guys, I call this as a smart activity. You would have often heard, don't only work hard, you also work smart. Because donkeys alone work hard. Human beings are blessed with common sense. So if you apply your common sense, that is what is called as smartness. Right? So here, the smartest thing is to make a note of all this. Have everything handy so that at the end, you don't struggle like donkey. So should have all the important points and assumptions either noted properly or highlighted properly for a quick revision. I would prefer noting it down. Third one, You should have all the format and formulas handy for quick revision. Invariably at so many places, you'll be, you'll come across a lot of formats. You'll come across a lot of formulas. You should have it handy with you. There are certain books where they have all the formulas accumulated at one point. In certain books, it is not there. So you accumulate it and have it at a single place, chapter wise. So you can make one rule notebook separately, where you note down all the important points, assumptions, concepts, and format and formulas. So that book is good enough for you to quickly glance before your exams. Fourth one, very, very important point. You should segregate all the questions into easy, medium, and difficult. Okay, let me ask you one very simple question. Online people, all of you also please answer. Every chapter, you will deal with 50 plus questions. Some chapters you will deal with 70 questions. Some chapters you will deal with 100 questions. Let's suppose somewhere in the range of November, December, where your pre-boards starts. Will you be in position to go through all the questions, every questions from nook and corner, from pin to ship? Will you be in position to go through? Please tell me. Online people?
No, sir.
Impossible. Impossible. So in that period of time, you should have a note of which are all the questions that you're going to watch and which are the questions that you're not going to, watch or study. You have to be very clear and sorted. So right from now, when you're in the class, you go back home and revise. No, you should have segregated all the questions into easy, medium, and difficult. Initially, when you study few questions the first time, you might mark something as difficult, but over a period of time, this will come into medium category. Initially, certain questions you would have marked it as medium. Over a period of time, it will become easy. So now you will mark it as D. Any questions if you come across, you might find it difficult now. So mark it D. Once you find it easy after a couple of months, cut the D and make it M. Are you able to follow that? So segregate the question between difficult, medium, and easy, which means easy questions are those questions which you have to study, let's say 3 to 4 times in a year. That is one time during the tuition, 3-4 times at your home. In that couple of times you could have glanced it, couple of times you will work out. More than sufficient, because easy questions are those questions which you can do it anyhow. Now medium questions are those questions where you have to work out or glance that question at least 6 to 7 times during the entire year, minimum I'm telling. Further, it will depend on what kind of a mental power you have. And difficult question is like minimum 10 times you'll either glance it or practice. Little bit of practice, few times practice, few times glance. This is the minimum thing that you have to take care of. Right? Next, fifth one. You should note down the mistakes in the questions that you have already done. For example, when you work out the questions at home, you might make certain mistakes. So in that question, what type of mistake you made? Did you make the mistake in reading the question? Did you make a mistake in writing a particular answer, particular segment you have done wrong? So what kind of a mistake you made? Not small petty mistakes. We are talking about some huge significant mistakes that you need to make a running note and comment and highlight that. So next time when you sit and review, when you revise, you need to go through that question and the comment that you've written besides that. Because as a donkey, you are allowed to make the mistake once. And as a donkey, you are allowed to make the mistakes repeatedly. But are we donkey? We are human beings. So as a human being, you can make mistake once, not second time. So highlighting your mistakes besides the question and revising it on timely basis or reviewing it on timely basis will ensure that you don't repeat the mistake or recap them. You don't repeat the mistake. Very, very important. There's a lot of people, they don't do it. And this is a practice which I had done in my CA final examination, and it helped me a lot. So I'm suggesting, last but not the least, should highlight problematic segments in each question. Now I can relate this to your 11th standard because you have just started studying 12th. So let me relate this with your 11th standard. There's something called as BRS, Bank Reconciliation Statement. So in that chapter, there were certain questions. Let's say in that question, there were 10 transactions. I can see some smiling faces, I can infer what kind of a feeling that you're giving. But anyways, BRS, there's one question with 10 transactions. In those 10 transactions, you'd have come across 8 transactions, which is very easy. That is, you can even do it in the sleep. But there were 2 questions or 2 transactions, which is a nightmare. So what did I tell you in 11th? highlight only those 2 questions, because when you're revising before the exam, you don't have time to go through the entire 10 transaction. In that 10, you know already 8. No? The 2 which is highlighted, which is problematic point, that alone you highlight and keep it and revise it the next time, or whenever you have to do it before the exam. Likewise, in 12th also, you'll come across so many questions where 80% of the question you know how to deal with it. But 20% of the question, or 30% of the question, or 10% of the question could be creating some problem for you. So you need to highlight that problem. Okay, in this particular question, this concept is what I'm worried about. This concept is going to, create a pain for me. Like that, you need to highlight the problematic segment in each question. If all this has been taken care, guys, at the end, you will have things under your control. Or else what will happen? Now, the people those are preparing for the board exam, no? 31st of March is the accountancy board exam. Now, last couple of weeks, people are here to write the test. And I'm casually going through their books also. You will not believe the book is brand new. There's not even a dot in a book. Couple of books I happen to just casually go through. Going through the book, you'll get to know what kind of a preparation they've done. Not a single scratch in the book. If I go and sell this in market, I'll get the exact market price for that book. That market ready that book is. No, that is not the highlight here. Now, why I checked that book is because that student sat besides me and told me, sir, exam is coming. That is, I'm going to give that 80-mark test, like proper like board exam format. Which question should I study? Which I should not study? Tomorrow exam. Today she's sitting and asking me which question to study, which question not to study. I told, give you a book, Kanna. I took the book, brand new book. Now that girl or boy, whoever it is, that confused what to study and what not to study. This is the position. Now, if you don't want to get into that zone, it is very important that you practice all of this. If you are targeting 95% plus, apart from whatever I'm discussing, otherwise, this point has to be taken care, may come what. No compromise on this. So either you take these points as it is what I'm saying and implement in your life, or let few months go by. You will have a very nice hitting and beating from the situations of your life where you'll not be able to manage certain things. That time you'll be done and dusted. Then you start following. Choice is yours. I'm pretty confident people, those who followed this, are having the peace of mind in their preparation. I'm telling you, there are 14, 15 people in the last batch that have brilliantly followed this, having a good time. On the contrary, I happened to meet one student yesterday. She had come to clarify the doubts for the board exams. And there's a certain concept which has been done from the TS Rival book. She's wondering, sir, this concept was done in the class? You are Bharati student only. I'll not name. But this is the condition. So it is very important. You have to stay absolute attentive in class, because every class I'm going to say something important or the other. Every class there'll be new concept that you'll be learning. So if you miss out on the classes, like if you're physically present, mentally absent, you'll be in trouble. If you miss out the classes and do not keep a track of it in the recorded class, still you are royally screwed. The choice is yours. So if you want to have a utmost comfortability during your board exams, you have to ensure these points are taken care of. These points are not something which I've randomly prepared from somewhere. This is the complete pure experience of my last 5 years with all of you. I have similar points for the CA students because that experience, that journey is different. So for them, slightly different. But this is something which I've customized for all of you. Right? Any queries here, please? Any points that you're not able to digest? 6 points I've discussed. Any points that you're not able to digest? Online people, all good?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. So let me wrap up the session here. This particular video, not the session. This particular video I'm wrapping up here. Immediately after that, we'll start with our partnership. Okay. So yes, people, all the people on the recorded class, who are watching, thank you so much. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, bye-bye. See you. Take care.